What up, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of These Corona Times. You are tuned in with, do this differently today, with Dr. Bruce, with King Brandon, and last but not least, your girl Tiffany. See, I put myself last because I want to normalize putting my friends first.
And the last shall be first.
Brent, I'm just glad you didn't show up with a
crown. I thought
today.
he was. I actually thought he was.
One of these days.
I was
one
afraid.
Of these days. Maybe for the one right before my birthday, I'm gonna do that.
I was ready for it. I was fully prepared to see him
already rolling her eyes
with his Burger King crown on. I wasn't sure. Nevertheless, friends, we want to welcome you back to These Corona Times. You are tuned in with episode 36. It is me and Simone's age for a little bit longer.
I have quite a bit. I have quite a bit of time. Tiffany, you will be moving on very soon in a matter of days.
It won't be long, friend. It won't be long. It comes right after mine. Like it goes March and then September. It's like immediate.
No, it's not. There's other months.
Tonight, we're going to be talking about normalizing loving your friends because it takes a village. So I'm not going to say too much about that because I don't want to take any orientating away from King Brandon. I have to save all the orientating.
This is the first time that's happened because normally you do. But
I'm trying to stay in my lane, okay? That's what I'm trying to do. Well, before we jump in, I want to just say thank you so much. We want to say thank you so much for watching with us. We enjoyed the engagement on last week's episode. It was a blessing and a privilege to have the victors on with us. Last week, it was great conversation. I know it sparked some good conversation in my home. I hope it led to some good conversation amongst you married or soon to be married couples. As always, you can catch us on Mondays at 8:00 on our Facebook channel at These Corona Times or our YouTube channel at These Corona Times. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, watch, and most importantly, leave some comments. We love to talk. We talk back. We enjoy it.
We do. We do talk back.
Even
if it's the next day.
We've had quite a few, the last video that we did had quite a few engagements. I'm looking at it now. And we are, about 1,300, people have been reached, with that. We've got a couple of shares and almost 60 comments on the actual video. So thank you all for the support.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep. So I definitely want to know how you all have been doing with your self-care this past week. What did you all do? I failed miserably last week. I think I offered nothing to the conversation with the self-care.
What is the self-care? What is that? I don't.
I'll go.
Please go. We need somebody to remind us.
It really, from last Monday to Friday, there wasn't a lot of self-care. I was doing my whole daddy thing with the kids and whatnot and trying to work and failing at that. But yesterday was a big self-care day. For you all that are watching, Saturday was a big self-care day. The kids were at my mom's house all day, their grandmother Mia's house all day Saturday, and I slept the majority of the day. I, got up at 10, lounged in the bed, poloed these two.
I was like, he's still in the same spot.
That's usually my move on Sundays.
Got up for a second and fooled around the house, and then got back in the bed, and then got up again about 8:00. And yes, it was the same spot.
Friend, I'm very proud because that's one of my moves. And usually I do that on a Sunday. I'm just very proud of you.
It is funny, but I was like, this is exactly what Tiff would do. But it was like almost 4:00, and I was like, yeah, the kids aren't here. Let me get this in while I can.
That's good because you had an extra load the last week and a half. With having to keep your son home with you, so you definitely needed the rest. Josiah, he needs all daddy. That was please. That was one polo. This child asked for strawberries like 3 times, and you were like, "Yes, I'll get them." And he like, okay. And 2 seconds later, Daddy, can I have strawberries?
When are you gonna get them? When are you gonna get the strawberries? When, Daddy?
Like, just give him the
now.
strawberries. So cute.
I love it's not gonna be my self-care, but I love watching these two parent via Polo because we grew up together. We don't say that enough. We grew up together. And me and Simone, from the time of, I don't know, being able to walk and or crawl, have been around each other. So it is just, one, it's always funny to me to see them in parent mode, but it's also just like, wow, my friends are parents. They actually have children they're responsible for, they have to raise. And I know they're at their wits' end some days, but let me say that you all are doing a good job at what you're doing. And I my prayer is always up for you, but my heart definitely goes out to you, especially during these times of being at home. And Brandon, that's the only compliment I'll be giving you in this episode.
Hey, I appreciate it. It'll be episode 50 before I get another one.
You know it, friend. Right. So my self-care, I didn't do a great job of self-care this week. I'll say I took care of other people. I didn't really take good care of myself this week. But I tried. So while my niece has been here a little bit more during NTI, I have taken breaks from the workday and tried to just kind of unplug and go outside and play with her. So the weather was nice this week, so we were able to do that a couple days. So that was great. And I'll say I probably did my self-care today. We're recording, so it's Sunday today, which was just laying in my bed and poloing and playing on my iPad and just anything that doesn't involve actual work and duties. So that was my self-care.
Self-care, man. Just laying in the bed with nothing to do.
Yep. No care.
Tiff, you neglected. I don't know if you talked about your wannabe snow angels. There was a time. I know that wasn't last week. I feel it was the week before, but you were trying to make snow angels, and you really were frolicking.
Yes, I was.
She's happy out there.
Yeah. So the snow was my self-care a couple weeks ago. I think we didn't have an episode that week that it snowed because it was Valentine's Day weekend. But that was my self-care. I love snow. I love snow. But we didn't really get snow in Kentucky. We got more like some sort of frozen tundra. So it was not fluffy enough to go out and make snow angels. But I did try. I tried my best.
She did.
Yeah, I was like, there's nothing there. There's nothing happening.
No, nothing happened.
I think for me, my self-care happened today. So I slept in because, I have a kid, so we tend to get up pretty early. But I slept until like 9:45 or something.
I slept until 9:45.
It was really late. I was like, what? And I felt kind of hungover because I'm not used to doing that. But I know I asked Sean, I was like, why'd you let me sleep that long? He was like, well, because you needed it. So I was like, okay. And then we took some time to go to, there's a place called Zootastic. And it's one of the several zoos around here. So we did that. And so there was work I needed to do. But I think whenever you take self-care, it's important to recognize that there's going to be a cost. There's something you're going to miss out on. There's work that is not going to get done. But that's okay because you have to take the time out and the weeks are busy and long. So on the weekend, if you can take time to take care of yourself and do something fun, you should do it. So that was really, really nice to be able to do that. We fed some giraffes and fed carrots to giraffes and hay to some other cow-looking creatures. I don't know. We came in and scrubbed down. But that was our self-care.
So. And that work's gonna be there tomorrow. It's all good.
It'll still be there. I just want to testify to the fact that your children are very much like yourself. From a mini sleepover with Simone, I can tell you that she's the last thing to go to sleep and the first thing to pop up in the morning. So I'm glad that Kaden is returning that favor unto her.
I hate it. I'm like, go to sleep and stay asleep. That's right. I'm the last one. I'd be up talking and you would fall asleep while I was talking. So I just want to add, I'm going to go back a second. Our other episode from last week, 35, with the Living the Married Life, or whatever the title was. We have 651 views on that video. That's a lot of views. Yeah. I know we did a boost, so we gotta try to be more consistent with that as well. So
yes.
It was a good episode. It just really was. So very happy about that. As far as our acknowledgements go, We want to talk about and kind of shout out. I'm gonna say it wrong. Kishia.
Yeah,
You
they
said it
did.
right. You
You
said it
did.
right.
You
I know
did
you
it.
was thinking about it in your head how Brenda told you to say it, but
I bet you didn't forget
Yes.
it.
Kishia, Kishia Ellis of Naturally Me. And so you can find Kishia Ellis at www.naturallyme502.com. She has plant-based, cruelty-free, natural skincare items. And I'm looking at her website right now. It looks like she has body butters, body oils, body soaps, exfoliants, facial care, lip care, and stuff, products for men as well. And I know that Brandon may want to say a little bit more because I think you actually use Kish's
Yeah,
products.
yeah. I still have some of her products. My kids have eczema, and for a little while, my daughter, it was getting like a little bit bad, like right in her like the elbow area. And so she had made this chocolate butter, body butter, and we used that for like a week, and it was gone. Like,
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, she makes great products. She makes a great beard balm. I mean, everything is handmade. And so she sources product. I know for a little while she was getting her like some of her shea butter from over in Africa. I know she goes to gets it from different vendors and everything like that. But she checks, she makes sure that it's again cruelty free and that she's trying to support black businesses as well with her purchases and everything like that. So she's been going at this pretty hard for the last I want to say between 4 and 6 years at least,
mm,
doing the way she's doing it. Like she's super dope. She's super dope, and she ships. So if you're looking at her website, you're like, man, I don't live in Louisville, Kentucky. Okay, because she ships, and so you can always order and the product to be there. I think she ships priority, but do not quote me on
mm.
that.
That's what's up. And we will include her information in the segment so y'all be able to find her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like she's on Facebook at Naturally Me, Instagram Naturally Me 502, and I hope to be able to order some of her products. And we are hoping to be able to have her on at some point. So hopefully we can have her on. We can talk about her products and also just kind of learn from some of her expertise.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
Brandon, would you like to orient us to this episode?
Please.
I
You,
actually have something to say. All right.
yes.
So this episode, no, actually, rewind. This month, as one of us would say, one
One
of
of
us
us.
calls this month Love Month. One of us. Guess who? Uh, and so with that love, we've talked about marriages, we've talked about a lot of things. But one thing we don't talk about a whole lot are our relationships with our friends. And people that you have known for what 20 years, 5 years, 1 year. How are our friendships been affected by Corona? How are your friendships affected by other relationships? How is that dynamic now? Because isn't your spouse supposed to be your everything?
Mm.
Maybe
No.
I don't know, right? I don't
Sorry.
think so, but
Not so quickly.
but there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who think that once you get into a relationship, once you get into, once you become married, that all that stuff stops.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
we want to just kind of explore that a little bit more. Also, is it okay to be a loner? Are you a loner? Are you someone that doesn't need a lot of friends? How does that look? What other relationships do you have? Because we are very social people. We're made to be very social, and so during this time when we haven't had the ability to really be up close and personal with each other, how are you maintaining these friendships? What types of media devices are you using? Are your friendships crumbling? Are you finding that your friendships were more superficial than concrete? What's really going on with some of these?
You trying to be spicy tonight, Brandon.
I know. I got some stories.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna try not to
really.
use any names.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's important. I think a lot of things have been exposed with Corona, and I'm talking about me personally as well. A lot of things have been exposed, and so we're going to just explore that just a little bit. Touch.
A little bit. Before we jump in, I think I'll say when you said we're mostly social, I think I'm an introvert. I know Brandon's an extrovert. Simone, I think you're somewhere in the land.
I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm really in the middle. I'm definitely I can't even say I'm in the middle. And I think I will say that I took making friends, like before moving here, I took friendship, like having friends on hand. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like I took that for granted because when I was born, I grew up in Magazine Street and my friends were being born at the same time as me. You know what I mean? Like you and Keisha and Brittany, like we're all very much the same age.
Yeah.
And so we just grew up together. So I was just like, of course, like, doesn't everyone come into the world like this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you grow up in your bubble like that. And so I definitely took that for granted. And so moving here, it has taken more of an effort to maintain the relationships. But I will say that there are people who I feel closer to now since we've moved than I felt when we were there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really weird to me.
Yeah,
that makes sense. You make a great point. When did we actually learn how to make friends? Because for a lot of us, we had ready-made friends as soon as we got of age.
Right.
And
they was right there.
Yeah.
I haven't known these two for as long as they've known each other. But when I met them in 1999, no, 1998.
98.
Met them in 98, and that was it. We were just in the same youth group, and it was just a thing. I mean,
there wasn't anybody that didn't get brought in. Like when y'all came, we knew that y'all be part of the group. We knew you would because you were the oldest, you were our age. But there wasn't anybody that got shunned. Maybe that other people have different thoughts, but for the most part, everybody was together.
I guess I would say there were friends there if you wanted the friends. Like, I don't know if everybody meshed so well together. I mean, I know inside of our larger friend group, but I'm speaking of us as teenagers. I know we had, I hate to say cliques. We had like little divisions amongst ourselves sometimes. And I think maybe some others may not feel as though they so easily meshed with us, especially like after we've grown up and, moved on a little bit or gone to school or not gone to school or whatever. You kind of get a little more divided as you get older. But I would say there were always friends there. I never had to worry about not having somebody to sit with or talk to. I think school and I think church and, like-minded activities kind of force you to make friends, especially when you're young. It's a little harder when you're an adult, but yeah, when you're young, for sure.
Yeah. So how have you all stayed connected with your friends during this time? Because the church friends we're talking about, we can't see them anymore. We don't go to church anymore in the flesh. So how have y'all stayed connected?
I mean, yes, the devices have been helpful.
Yes.
And I will say, if you like, I guess what we're finding out now is like if you didn't talk a lot prior to COVID, you may not be talking a lot now, or actually, you may be talking more.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about a couple instances with Simone where she's talking more to folks she probably didn't normally talk to a lot prior to COVID.
Very true.
So I think it can be either or. But yeah, the devices have really helped. I say that as Simone and I, along with some of my other friends, we used to talk on the phone a lot. Like a lot. Even when she lived here, we talk on the phone a lot. We don't necessarily do a lot of talking on the phone anymore. In fact, for us to call each other, it's almost like it's a borderline emergency. Like, I'm calling you because I haven't heard your voice in some way, shape, or form today. Be a text or a polo or whatever. So I would say not even just like the phone itself, but like using Twitter to interact with each other, using polos to interact with each other, using text messages, using the WhatsApp or whatever to interact with each other. Any of those things have been helpful to me because I know during this time, I'm not aware of everybody's daily schedules. So it's kind of hard for me to just go, oh, I'm free. I'm just going to call such and such or what have you. And then because I keep really odd hours sometimes and I'm up late, I know that everybody else is not really awake during that time. So when I do want to call people, y'all might be asleep, Brandon, never awake.
Right.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
by 10 o'clock.
Get
I'm
your
out.
request in before 10 because he's asleep after that.
You're right.
Right.
If you don't get me
Right.
before then, but actually, if you don't get me by 9:45, it's a wrap because I'm in my sleep. I'm going downhill.
Hilarious.
I know. I know. For me, what I use is, of course, social media. That is, we say there are a lot of bad things about social media that we can't diminish. But the one good thing about that is, you know, being able to keep in touch with people that you know and you love, especially if they're further away. And you have those crazy schedules where you can leave a comment and go back and forth, on your own kind of time. One of the apps that I've been introduced to is one app that we talk about the polos. Is an app called Marco Polo, and it's just an app where it's really kind of just like it's
It's
like
like a text message,
it's
but on
that's
video.
all it is video text messaging
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
It's not we don't speak live to each other like this. It's talk, say hey, how you doing, and then somebody just comes back in and chimes in after that. So, but that's been really good because that's allows you to see each other's face
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that. So that's a beautiful thing. I've also been using Google Meet.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bi-monthly uh, kind of get together with some of my best guy friends, and we talk through that. And so yeah, and then
Love
text
it.
messages for for some other folks.
Hmm.
I was watching how Brandon worded that because he said my best. Then he said guy friends. So I was about to say, wait a minute, are we not? Are we not your best friends? Are we not?
Tiffany's always calling Brandon out about his word choices. Hilarious.
If
So
not me,
Girl,
funny.
then
please.
who? If not me, then who will do it?
I think I don't know if y'all remember house party at the beginning of the pandemic. House party was a big thing.
Yeah. Oh wow.
And
That seems like
some people
forever ago.
couldn't. Tiffany, you would not get into it. You just
No,
would not get
I
into it. I was
tried.
like, Tiffany, let's get on house party and play. You were like, no.
I don't know what house party is.
It's like a thing where you get on there, you can play
Play
games with
games
each other. And
together.
if you have an
Okay.
Apple, y'all can play Uno. And I got in there with a few people, but I didn't have an Apple, so I couldn't play what they were playing, and so I felt left
Uh-huh.
out. It's fine. It's fine. But so I couldn't really get into that. But Marco Polo has been, I mean, really, Marco Polo has been, I'm gonna say a game changer, honestly, because I don't think that the three of us would have been doing three-way calls.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I don't think that would have happened. It had to be something like Marco Polo, and it's more connecting. I think I feel more connected doing Marco Polo than I do text messaging because I can see y'all. And if
Mm-hmm.
you have Marco Polo Plus, you can talk while the person's talking, so it can feel
Yeah. Yeah.
live. You can put, so that has been really great. But I think also I used to get red for filth for being how do I want to say this? Let me just say it. I can be a out of sight, out of mind kind of person. Okay. That is my like when I'm communicating with you, we
Mm-hmm.
can talk. I'll be on the phone for hours. But if I don't see you, I don't talk to you that much, I might forget that I don't want to say you exist,
Yeah.
That's kind of
but
what you're saying, though.
but I would go on and not really because I'm not a loner at all, but I have my two or three friends, you know what I mean? And that's good enough for me. I'm not somebody who has 25 friends. You know what I mean? I'm good with the few that I have. And I've learned that being here and being in COVID, that like my communication style is it can be kind of limited. If you don't reach out to me, I might not reach out. Not because I don't like you, but I just forgot.
Well, I'd say it's harder now because you are a person who likes to go out, like hang out. Let's go to movies. Let's go get something to eat. Let's go, to the park or what. Even when she came here, when for her first Corona visit, it was like we did a social distance walk together. So the fact that you can't really do some of that, it takes away kind of takes kind of your legs away from up under you as far as like meeting new people and going out and interacting because you don't have that anymore. You really have to just talk to people. which you don't have that commonality of going watching a movie and then talking about that movie, or going to a restaurant and talking about the different foods they have there, are like bonding over that experience. You really just have to kind of create conversation. So that can be really difficult. And you said something about your having fewer friends, having less friends. I think as we get older, our circles get smaller. I'm down to the friends that's gonna be the friends. I don't.
Yeah.
I might make some new ones along the way, like for work or whatnot. But like the super tight circle, I think it's where it's gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah. You want people. There was one of my neighbors who I've become a little bit closer to over the last year. He mentioned something. He was like, I want people in my life that add value.
Yeah.
And it's we too old to be having these superficial type relationships. You gotta. I need you to add some value to my life, and I don't think that's being selfish. I'm trying to add some value to your life as well. So when you put it that way, I was like, that's it.
And I don't think that means, like, when you say value, I think that means so many things, right? Like if I walk away from our conversation, I feel uplifted because I just had a positive interaction.
Exactly.
For me, that's added value. You know what I mean? Like, but if you sit up there and you like downplayed everybody and you was real negative, like I feel depleted. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's important too. I definitely agree with that sentiment.
Or if our conversations are a safe place to land, because it's not always I need you to give me a feedback type of conversation, or I just need you to be a safe space where I can kind of talk and listen, and then if I ask for feedback, I can trust that you'll give that to me.
But don't give it if I don't ask for it. I'm not gonna feel good about that interaction. Okay.
No, I feel
that's a whole other topic. It's a whole other topic.
Now we've gone over how your friendships changed over the years, this, and the other. Now, do we have, as we've talked about, we've mentioned that our circle has gotten a little bit shorter. Are our friends kind of close to us as far as age, demographics, or do we have a lot of friends that stretch uh, both ways, younger, older, different genders, maybe even different races and whatnot?
It's funny about the races. Like, wait, no, wait. Where's my
white friends? Yes, I'd say so. I've always I kind of get teased for this because I used to kind of roll with my great grandmother when I was little. So because of that, I made a lot of friendships with older people as a kid. Like I would always go and talk to all the other people in my granny circle, speak to them, and because of that, I've developed friendships with them along the way. So I would say I have friends who are, and these are not best friends or anything like that, but people I, could talk to. I would say I have friends who are as young as like maybe late teens, all the way up until like maybe early 60s or late 60s, mid 70s. And I think that's okay. I think that provides a wealth of information on both ends, because I think there are some of my friends who are older, who I can learn a lot from, who give a lot of wisdom, have a lot to say. And sometimes it's not like in a way of, I'm telling you what to do, you better listen to me. It's more of like just nice conversation. And somewhere along in the conversation, little tokens, little nuggets kind of come out. And I do appreciate them. And again, like I said, these are friends that add value. Like, I don't feel like because I'm 36 and they're like 62, like I don't have anything to share with them and that they don't have anything to share with me. And in the same way with folks who are younger, because I feel like, especially when you're in the church, like trying to reach back and stay connected to your youth, I think it's good to be open to being friendly with the youth. Now, you can't necessarily be best friends with them. You got to hold boundaries and such, and you got to, kind of keep them at arm's length a little bit, because, it's kind of weird to be best friends with a teenager at this old age. But, finding a way to connect with them and still be friendly enough where they're okay with talking with you and that you can talk to them. And again, you can learn something from them. They can learn something from you. So I'm cool with having friends all across the board.
Yeah, me too. There is a mutual, church family, and she's much older, and me and Tiffany love her food. And she's much older than her daughter, I think, is close to our age. Although her daughter might be a little bit older than us.
Yes.
But I do consider her a friend. And when you're older like that, even if I consider you a friend, there's still a respect value. There's still a respect thing there. So I'm not going to talk to you in exactly the same way that I do somebody, like Tiffany. But I think those friendships are very important. I do learn a lot, and I feel like there's a lot of wisdom there. People like Alex and Alethea, who are maybe about 5 or 6 years older than us. I tend to have friends that I've noticed that are a little bit older than me. And I'm not sure why that is, but I appreciate those friendships. And then, like you said, like the younger folks, I find myself as we get older, I feel myself like in more of a mentorship type of role. But I also don't want to be in a space where I'm giving information or advice they don't want, because I hate that for me. Like I don't like that. But then as it relates to gender, and this is something me and Sean actually talked about when we got married. I said, because when I brought him into the fold, he saw everybody, saw everyone. And he was like, okay, there's men and women here. And, I was like, yeah, so this is my friend group. I don't see myself not talking to my male friends just because we're dating or because we get married. These are like brothers, and so that was okay with him. And when it comes to making new male friends, I don't know if that would be the same, because it's a different dynamic. You know what I mean? Like if I'm talking to Brandon, he doesn't care about that. But if I'm talking to, Antoine, I just met last week at Target, like that's not gonna fly.
No.
That's not gonna fly.
Right. That's probably not gonna be. But I'm actually we did not talk about friends. We're going through our counseling and whatnot. I am an extrovert to the fullest. If you look up the definition of extrovert, you will see my picture.
Yes.
I am there. I am there at the let out, trying to chill out, hang out, talk, this, that, and the other. And there was no way in the world I was losing out on my friends. I think that I had to make some adjustments to the relationship that I did have with some of my female friends, because I have very close female friends from when I was in college and everything like that, and so the relationship got adjusted a little bit, but for the most part, that's also still there. I don't go out of my way now to make any new female friends. Um, if it's a coworker that turns into something like that, then that's fine. But if I'm just out at a restaurant, all of a sudden there's a woman over there, man, she might be a good friend. No, no, no.
Yeah, it's a respect thing for me too. Like I don't want to be, if I don't know the wife very well or the partner very well, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna get too close. Now I know Jamaica's also our friend, so I don't feel any type of way about contacting Brandon or even. Well, no, I would never contact Jamaica. Jamaica, where's Brandon? I wouldn't do that. No, that'd be weird. But I know Jamaica, so I don't feel any type of way. I don't think there's a problem there.
Yeah. And I would say, like, as far as new friends, Joel and I have always met people together, So like if it's an individual, male or female, I kind of feel like as long as we are both mutually befriending them at the same time, then I'm okay with that. But I'm the same along the same lines. Like I'm sure he wouldn't be okay with me making a new friend at the gym and be like, hey, this is Joe, we work out together. I'm sure he wouldn't be happy about that.
He spotted me. It was so good. It was such a good.
He's helping me stretch, He's gonna have him over for dinner. Sure, he wouldn't like that, but we have, because of Joel's position and career, he's much more extroverted than I am anyway. So it's more likely that we're going to meet people, and a lot of times those people are sometimes younger and sometimes single, especially in the musician field. So as long as we end up kind of making them as mutual friends, I'm okay with that. Which we do have. It seems like more of our mutual friends are getting married now, or pairing off with each other, but. We have had those instances where we've met folks who are single and we've introduced them to our our friend group. They're part of the friend group now.
That's a good segue into, do y'all have single friends?
See,
No
that's
more.
what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. Yes, we do. Tiff, we have some single.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
unmarried. Like
yes.
But I have had people say, well, you got married and you have a kid now, so I just figured,
You're not in the friend group no more.
right. I just figured, I thought I was giving you space. I'm like, we've been friends this whole time.
Well,
like, what do you mean?
It's gonna be it's a tiny bit of truth in it, but I think you should let the person decide what they do and don't want to do. Like, because I can't go out to, not saying we're gonna do this is hypothetical. I can't go run out to the clubs with y'all, with the single friends on Friday nights or whatever. Not to say any of us did that, but I'm just using an example. Can't necessarily do that when you're married. They don't always fly. That's something that have to work out between you and your spouse or whatever works in your house. Do that. So some things may change. I may not be readily available to go girls' night as I used to, but that doesn't mean I don't still want to go.
I definitely want to go.
Yeah.
And I want to go out to the club not on the Friday, but I want to go to. I can't go every Saturday. I can't go but if I work it out, I can go maybe once a quarter.
Yeah.
Once a quarter.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing, man. Like, I actually don't know I don't have a lot of single friends, and by single I mean unmarried. I don't have a lot. I have a decent number, but I don't. Some of my college friends are not married and whatnot. But I'm about to say the same thing. Like, yo, if I get a call, it's like, yo, B, we doing XYZ. You want to come through? If it fits in the schedule, I'm gonna do it. That's because you are in a relationship doesn't mean you forsake all of your friends. Because again, it takes a village, man. Not one person can provide everything for you, nor should they, and that shouldn't be the goal.
I think this is what bothers me, is that when we talk about, when you get married, you can have single friends. It's about influence. Like, well, your single friends might influence your spouse or influence you to cheat. I'm like, if I want to cheat, I'm going to do that. Whether or not I have single friends or we hang out with couples all the time. So I feel like we should normalize letting that go. But for me, people going to do the wrong thing, they're going to do it.
And for me, that goes back to surrounding yourself with friends that add value to your life. Now, if you have chaotic friends that do chaotic things,
then you can't be.
You can't be surprised. Absolutely. But if I wouldn't expect any of that to happen. Like, Simone got married way before I did. I was still friends with her and Sean, for years before I got married, and there was no negative influence there. Like, I think I feel safe with my friend group. Like, I don't feel like that would ever happen. Like, not only would they not influence me to do something negatively, I don't think they would ever approach my spouse to do something negative. I don't think they're those kind of friends. And, Lord forbid, I haven't weeded those type of people out of my life prior to this. But yeah, it depends on who you surround yourself with. Because I don't feel that level of chaos or that level of threat whenever any of my single friends are around the relationship.
Same. They're none of them are just like, B, you won't do this.
Right. Like, there's a woman right next to you here.
Yeah.
Take her.
Go holler at her. She not here. Your wife's not here. Go ahead at.
I don't want those type of friends.
Nobody's doing that.
Right.
I want you to talk me out of the bad thing I'm gonna do. Not, don't encourage me.
Don't encourage me.
I also don't like how, for the few, I don't have a lot of single friends, but for the few that I do have, I found that sometimes I don't know why, but they'll think that they can't share their dating life with me. And I recognize I can't contribute in this thing. I can only talk about my memories and my experience dating. But I'm also like, if we're friends and I see you as a peer, I'm not gonna judge you for for whatever your escapades. Like, I'm not judging you because I've had my own before I got married, So I don't know where that comes from. So I think that's a barrier too, is single folks sometimes seem like they want to share with other single folks.
Married people.
As opposed to
married now. They're not gonna understand the struggle or
Like,
they're not
You
going to
had to be
understand.
single before you got married, so I mean.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I've had to tell people that now I see you as a peer. I'm not judging and I'm not here to advise you either. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me something, then I'll tell you, but I'm not gonna
So
force,
totally different.
Hmm.
exactly. Now, y'all, what about people who put their relationship in front of everybody else? Like I have never done that. My
Never.
friends are my friends. I will make time for you. But some people, when they are booed up, that's it.
That's
Booed
true. That's true. Although I'm trying to remember when that's ever really been a issue, and not in marriage. It's usually when we were young and dating. We were in high
Yeah.
school. It's like you don't have time for me because you're so caught up with Bobby. And I'm like, well,
I don't understand
I
it.
don't
I don't
understand.
understand
But I
it.
don't, for us, and I'm going to speak. I don't know if it was like that for us a whole lot though, because there was a lot of intra squad dating going on. So we were hanging out with each other no matter what, right?
There was a lot of group dates.
A lot of
There was
There was no one-on-one dating magazine. That didn't exist.
it was a group.
You wasn't going nowhere
Yes.
unless 6 other teenagers was going with
That's
you
exactly
to
right.
somebody's
That's
parent.
exactly right. That's the way our parents wanted it.
Mhm.
Who's
Yes.
all going?
But
Who's
as
all
we
going?
got right. Yes. And somebody's parent was looking up, looking around,
Looking all around.
But as we got older, there were some experiences where, you're supposed to be hanging out with your friend and then their partner not married, right? But just their person's there, like their partner's there. And it's like,
Yeah.
I thought we were just hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say.
I don't either. But I mean, do you feel like as an adult that you've experienced that? I mean, I feel like that was something that, for me anyway, happened during teenage time, which to me makes a little bit more sense because I think we feel like we didn't have enough time, or we take for granted that we see each other all the time anyway. So like if I'm spending extra time with XYZ, it don't mean I'm not your friend. It just mean I'm, spending time over here. But as an adult, I haven't really had much of that experience of people, at least people in my circle anyway, putting like their marriage. Well, you should put your marriage before your friends, but like being so consumed with their marriage that they can't have friends. I guess I put it that way.
Right.
Uh-oh. We lost Simone.
Have you gotten the frozen?
Oh, we got her. She's frozen.
Frozen.
Well, Brandon, I guess it's just me and you for the rest
Just
of the
me
night.
and you.
Take over the
Just
show.
me and you. I'm at a point now where I think and again, not to say you need breaks or whatever the case, breaks from your marriage or this, that, and the other, but you got to have other people that are
Definitely.
influencing you all. You got to have other people that you care about that add value to come in and speak because you're always learning. You're always learning. If you stay in that silo, that marriage silo, you can make not so great decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'm very fortunate that I know that at least when we here, through my marriage, we've still gone out with other people, still done this, still done that.
How she
I
gonna
know
come
she's
back?
back
How you
now.
gonna come back to an empty space?
I wrote in the chat, it's happening. I'm sorry, Mom.
I love it. I love it. We can't stop it. The tape's rolling. We just do what we do.
You just make it happen.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, where are we? Where are y'all at?
We were still talking about the spouses and
Yeah.
putting your spousal relationships over like your friends.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, what are some gender differences in our friends? Do you all get? I don't know. There are a lot of, let me not say myths or misconceptions, but there are there's a lot of talk about women's relationships and how they can be good, but it can sometimes be that meanness aspect? That
I'm
are
gonna
we
say
really truly friends, or are we just saying we friends?
Frenemies.
I'm gonna say
Right, right.
women's relationships
Versus,
are
in some
stressful.
case, when guys, the stereotypical guy relationship is that long term. That's my bro. Love you.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that can cut. Have y'all experienced that? What's your? Because I know we all have friends that are of different genders.
I'm gonna say women's relationships are stressful.
Yes.
I think I think they're more stressful than guys' relationships. I think this probably it may be a myth because I have brothers, but I'm not a dude. So Brandon, you'll have to jump in and tell me if I'm wrong about it. But it's like if y'all have beef, it's gonna be worked out over a basketball game or a video game, and y'all gonna be fine. It's over.
You know,
It's over with
I,
quick.
I'll go on record. Me and one of my best friends had had fought with each other or beef or beef with each other, and we were kind of avoiding it for a little while, and then I was over at the house, and we talked for like 2 or 3 hours, probably 2 or 3 hours, and we talked through it, and we were just like, "Why are we beefing like this? Like, this is not no,
Mm.
no, this is stupid." And it was a bunch of "I'm sorries." I didn't realize. I'm sorry. Blah, 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 this. I'm sorry for my. And then it was squashed. It's done.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's done. And so that I guess that maybe it's a little bit different for women.
Mm-hmm.
It
My
takes us
I
longer.
I love that though because I feel like men are not socialized to do that.
Mm.
To talk it out, hug it out, what have you. And I think that I really love it when I see men embrace each other, in friendship, but also literally embrace each other, like at church.
Mm.
I always make fun of y'all, Brandon, doing that loud clapping,
Listen,
when y'all do the
So dapping each other up, yeah.
me and me
like,
and Shine, me and
like,
Shine,
Like
boy,
the
it's
sound
like
heard around
thunder.
like
the
too
But
loud.
but Sean, Sean is someone who I'm a dap him, give him
Hmm.
the dap, and then it's a hug. I mean,
Right.
and, it, and it's
That's
and
true.
it's for me, and maybe I get this from my from just how I was raised. I don't mind giving another man an embrace like that. And me
Hmm.
and Sean, we hug. It's a tight hug, like,
It's a
yo,
real
bro,
hug.
They
Yeah.
rock from
love
side to
you,
side.
miss you,
They
man.
No.
cry.
I'm sad. I'm sad that you all are leaving to go back to. 'Cause this is what last time was when y'all were here for
Hmm.
y'all's first Corona vacation or whatever,
Hmm.
and we met
Fornication.
y'all up, and it was like,
Coronation.
dang, that was like, man, I'm sad that y'all leaving. I'm like,
Right. I want to see more of that between me because I feel like there's this idea that men have to be all strong and hard and can't love on one another, and that there's no sexual nothing going on. It's just
Right.
a friendship,
Yeah.
And but I agree. I think women's relationships can be very stressful, and I will say that I have personally. I will back out of those relationships. And I talked to Tiffany before. I talked to both of y'all like, listen, I'm feeling really stressed out about this relationship. I feel like I just need to bow out. You know what I mean? Like if a friend is doing too much or they requiring too much of me, I'm out. Like I'm not I'm not staying.
But the best friends, the ones you've had over a long time, we've probably had, 4 or 5 squabbles in
Yes.
the lifetime of our friendship. And I think from my experience, it takes women longer to make up. And I wonder if some of that is because we're in our heads a lot. Like, oh, we do subliminals. Like, if you were in church and we used to sit together, if you don't sit with me, oh, she don't want to sit with me. She too good. She's sitting on that pew over there.
Right.
And she
Why
might
she walk in that door? She always walking in
always walk
the
this way. She avoided me on purpose. We are like our own worst enemy in an argument because we are, have 1,000 scenarios for something, and that person may not be thinking anything at all. It just may be they, the door was closer. They walked in that door, whatever, and that's where they sat down today. It may not have no, fake motives behind it or anything, but I think we get in our own heads a lot, and sometimes that prevents us from. I mean, that could prevent people from speaking for years.
Yes, and it does.
For a
And
long.
I think we have gotten better. Some of us have gotten a lot better at actually talking about what's going on and just calling the person in to talk about the issue. And I find that those are the strongest friendships, people who I've fallen out with, who we have a real like grown woman conversation about what I didn't like and how I hurt them. And then we come back together, you know, and we pray about it and then we can squash it. But I think you're right. And also I think as Black women too, sometimes we're in competition with each other when we don't need to be.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, so-and-so's name is all over the nominating committee. Oh, she thinks she do, so she does everything. So she want to be in all the, you know what I mean? And it's like, this is ridiculous. Like if you want a spot, you could have done that too.
Yeah.
Or what have you. So I think sometimes we fight against each other for no reason, just because we're socialized to compete.
That's a good point, and I know, and maybe again, I'm going to say from my standpoint and from my upbringing that I was not brought up to compete. There was not that, oh, what my dude is doing, I'm trying to do the same thing. Nah, it's like, yo, like all of my guy friends are doing something different, and we all make a wide range of salaries. And anytime somebody gets promoted, it's like, yo, duh. One of my good friends just got a new job, and it's like, yo, congratulations! I know this is what you wanted, blah blah blah. And it's just been all love there. And if we were in the same city, we'd go out, we hang out, we'd be like, yo, this is, we buy, hey man, get a meal. This is on us. We want to celebrate you for getting a new job or whatnot. That whole competition thing. Just I just another something that just never crosses my mind.
I think the numbers game has a lot to do with that. I mean, I think a lot about we can only use our own experiences. So I think a lot about when we were teenagers, and for as big as our friend group was, there was like 6 guys and 12 girls probably. It was a lot. It wasn't,
the ratio was off.
yeah, it wasn't equally balanced. So think about that for like, parts in plays or whatever or skits. There were probably 2 or 3 male parts. There's probably 2 or 3 guys who are willing to do that. There may be 2 or 3 girls parts and you have 12 girls trying to go for the same part, or the same solo or whatever, things like that, where we're kind of conditioned to, just because it's more of us, we kind of have to vie against each other to get those opportunities. Same thing about, we talk about this a lot, competing for guys in the setting of church, because there's so few guys, there's more girls, so we're competing against each other to date in church. So I think some of that is just the numbers, how that works out for us, because it's so many of us. We're always kind of competing for one thing or another against each other.
Good point.
Yeah. And I think for me, I think that feeling of competition sometimes, depending on, especially if I don't know the woman very well, will pop up for me. And it's about me. Like I have to talk to myself and ask myself, where is this coming from? Because, we all have unique, exactly. Yeah. Like we all have unique skills and talents, and there's room for everybody. Us all. And if I don't get this or that, then that wasn't for me. It's not about making her the enemy.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something more that we all have to do, is talk to ourselves and figure out what's going on with us, as opposed to, demonizing the next woman.
How do y'all show love to your friends?
If I answer the phone, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Also known as the bare minimum. But go ahead.
No, sometimes answering the phone can mean a lot. Especially in these corona times. If you answer, especially Simone, who don't never answer.
I never answer the phone. I'm bad at that. I'm really bad. But if I text, I've been doing a lot of just reaching out to people that I don't normally talk to. There was somebody who saw me and my family on our church Zoom last week, and she reached out. And so I've been reaching out to her over the last couple of weeks. And so she's not a super, super close friend, but she's a friend, and I care about her. So just reaching out here and there, like that's me showing love. If I don't hear from Tiffany, I will I have called Joelle.
Where is she?
Or you know what I mean? Like, where is she? So I think that's my way, but I'm not a real like emotion. I am emotional, but I'm not like, oh,
Are
I just
you?
love you.
Are you?
Listen, times have changed. There's things happening. Okay. I'm not the I just love you so much. That's not me.
That's not true. Yeah.
No.
I think I
Yeah.
was 30 years old before Simone told me she loved me.
I never said that.
Brandon too. He told me he loved me too. I was 30 years old. I had to have a near life incident for them to tell me they love me, guys.
I never
I
said
don't think I
that.
told you I loved you when you was in the hospital.
You
I
did.
didn't either.
You
I did
both
not.
did. You both did. And you know what? You can't take my memories away from me.
Well, let's not let it happen again.
He's like, let's not
Right.
speak it again.
Exactly.
I know for me, I am an embracer. It's definitely all of my Uncle Ken, who I don't know none of you all. Actually, a lot of people know my Uncle Ken Dudgeon. You all, of course, know him, but as far as our listeners and whatnot, it's all hugs. I mean, it's straight up. It's a quick dap, and then it's like it's a big embrace. Same thing for Sean. Same thing for my other close guy friends. I have absolutely no problems with an embrace. That's just me. Now I understand there are a lot of guys that are not like that. So the first things first is the dap and the put it in your chest. That's
Yeah,
Painful.
it is.
it's not that painful. But I'm definitely down for a good embrace, good hug and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Go ahead, Tiff.
I was just gonna say, showing up, being supportive, along the lines of what Simone was saying about reaching out when you can, birthdays, milestones, events, checking in whenever. I think that's a good way to show support. You know, unknowingly doing things like maybe praying for your friends. Just keeping them in mind when you do things, like when you have activities, kind of being mindful of maybe they can't do that because they have kids, or not trying to take anything away from them or whatever, but trying to plan something where they can be included. So kind of thinking of them in that way as well. Being complimentary when you get a chance, which is what I did at the top of the show. I complimented my friends on their parenting.
I was trying to think of something that is a real deal delineation, and I think for me it is me initiating the reach out is one, and also like we grew up hugging everybody. We come to church, you hug everybody, even if you're not close to them, you hug them. But I noticed that people joke on me and say I'm not touchy feely, and I'm not. But if I'm really close to you, I'm much more touchy feely. If I sit down, I might sit right on you, like sit, hip to hip. So that is a difference between when I'm close and when I'm not. I want to be physically touching you, and that's not normally what I would do, but just in your body. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely not like that. It's with the embrace. When I see you, I'm embraced. When it's time to go, I'm embraced. But after that,
you better not be sitting at the hip with nobody else. You can't.
Yeah, this is a girl thing, I think.
Yes, I definitely ain't no touching
other
here and there. I'm not.
Before Corona, sharing drinks, we don't do that no more.
We don't do that no more.
We ain't doing that no more.
I wasn't doing that at all.
We would pass around,
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Never did that. Y'all. Okay.
Don't do that. Okay, well, we did.
So many things guys don't do.
Ain't none of that. Do y'all have different like? I was looking at something and somebody made a status about it's okay to call people an acquaintance and not necessarily a friend. Do you all have like friend tiers?
I think so. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll say I think Corona created some of those for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's like it's funny though. Everybody has like a little different level of friend. Like you, my friend, but you this type of friend. Or yeah, that's my friend, but like they down.
They a little down lower. But you know what also I was thinking about is that there are people that I never talk to, but because I grew up with them, I care about them at a greater level than like I care about their well-being. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If somebody was talking bad about them, I wouldn't let that happen. Just because of the history.
Yeah.
I might not talk to you all the time, but I got love for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think that's significant. And I think that there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of that I'm aware of during this time. For people I don't talk to a lot, but I still, like, if they needed me, I would make time to be there for them and talk to them.
I think you can still count. I still think you can call those people friends.
Yeah, definitely. Not acquaintances, but friends.
They're not acquaintances, because an acquaintance is someone who you wouldn't do all that for.
Nah.
Oh, to me, an acquaintance is somebody I see you, I speak. You know,
right?
That's about it. I see you, I say hello, and we keep it going.
You know what, Tip? I have to say this because of how much we talk. Like when you were talking about being an introvert, and I have always been shocked when I see you and when we're together in mixed groups where you may not know everybody or I don't know everybody. How much more quiet you are. I'm like, why is Tip
so
quiet? Tip not talking.
Yeah, people who know me from church or inside church, because I'm up front a lot and I speak a lot, and that's my grandmother's fault for thrusting me into a lot of church activities as a young child. I'm just comfortable in that setting. But if you take me somewhere else, I'm not. I'm sitting in the back. I barely talking. I'm very introverted, but I feel, and I think everybody's like that to an extent. Like people you feel comfortable with, they wouldn't probably deem you an introvert or extrovert. They probably say you're outgoing, you talk a lot, you're funny, but when you're with people you don't know, it's when you really get to see, like, no, I am. I'm very quiet. Simone will be the one. She'll be talking to random strangers, and I'll be like, Simone, stop talking to those people.
I know. I'm like, my mom is. I'm not like on that level. I'm below, but she's extrovert times 10.
Yes.
So I'm not like that, but
she made me sound like an introvert, boy.
I get quiet around her. I just be quiet. Like, let me just stop talking. She don't talk.
But Brandon's not like that either. Brandon talks to people. Like we go places, I think as groups or when new people are around, he's always the one talking to the new person. And I'm like, I can't do that either. I can't just start conversation. I'm not good at that.
Yeah,
man, that's just.
I've seen Joel do that. I'm like, gosh, you just know what to say, don't you?
He does.
And the funny thing is, he would be like, you know that person? Oh no, I just met him today.
Exactly.
But and I guess, and I don't know if this happens to you, Brandon, but he's the kind of person that makes friends over a t-shirt or whatever. Like he'll be like, oh, that's a nice shirt. Oh, you like this shirt? Oh, I like this band. And they have a whole conversation. I'm like, what do y'all?
Oh yeah. For me, it's more so like, dude, where'd you get them shoes from? Oh man, cool. I've been looking for them. Oh, man, I've been doing.
I'll be like, I like your shoes. See you later.
Now, Sean, nah, nothing. You're getting nothing. He's like, how you doing? That's it. I'm like, were you gonna say anything else? No. Okay.
Yeah. It'd be so funny because my wife would be like, you know that person? I'd be like, no, I just met them in the line at Walmart.
No. If y'all can't tell, our spouses are a good balance of us. I think in the places where we don't, in the instances where one of us doesn't talk, the other one will. Somebody.
Jamaica says she says she's an introverted extrovert, or is it?
Boy, she an introvert.
But she talks
when people of comfort, she's
if she knows you, she'll talk. But outside that,
my goodness.
Well, it'd be funny. She will break out. We'll be at some random place, and if she'll look around, I'm walking around talking this and that. She done pulled out her tablet and she's going.
I love it.
And then she'll give me that look of,
It's time
There
to
you
go.
go.
It's time to go.
Time to go. I'm ready.
Wrap it up.
Wow, so we covered a lot of the notes. I'm gonna jump down near the bottom, and you all, stop me if there was something I missed that y'all want to talk about. But I'm gonna go down toward the last of the 2 points. How has your friend group, how have your friends benefited you?
I'll start with that one. That's an easy one for me. I do not think I would be where I am today without my friends.
Hmm.
Like I mean that uh, wholeheartedly. I have 7 people who I'm super close to. The 2 of them, I hate to say it this way, 2 of them because they're on this, and then I have 5
Wow.
other guy friends who are extremely close. I'm extremely close to, and I bounce ideas off of them. When you're talking about added value, it's an amazing thing because I have been able to limit a lot of mistakes because I've been able to bounce ideas uh, off of different people. Uh, and then with these 2, especially because we're on this call, we started a health program at our church
Mm.
that kind of launched into quite a few things for me personally, kind of helped see that, oh, I do actually like this. No, this is actually where my passion is. And so I don't think, about I'm not gonna say I'm not like I'm super successful, blah 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 blah. But
Mm.
I think that a lot of the successes that I have are number one from blessings from God, number one. But
Mm.
I think because I have such a great friend group that adds an immense amount of value to me that it has helped project me through certain things.
Mm. So you want
I, sure. I was just thinking about how important support is, and my friend group is my support system. There are times when I don't feel understood by, parents or something like that, and, I can talk to my friends about all those things. My close friends, they know from the beginning to the end, and so it just helps to have somebody to bounce ideas off of. When I watched some of these, there was some show we were watching when they kept saying, I had nobody to talk to. What show was that?
so we were watching? There
I
was
had
no
no one.
one.
And I was like,
I know
but
exactly what you're talking about.
I can't think of the show. But I thought that is so sad. I know there are a lot of people like that, but I don't ever feel that way. Because there's always a sounding board, and it might not be it's not going to be the acquaintances, and it might not be the people that I feel close to that I don't talk to. It's going to be one of maybe 5 people, but that's good enough for me. And just being able to have a soundboard to get their support and to support them back, it just makes me feel warm and connected. I always feel good after talking to my friends or being with them. So um, that's those are just some of the benefits to me. That feeling of connection, and those people are also women of color, other Black women. So that's a whole other layer that's important to me too.
Hmm.
I think I'm blessed to say that my circle has been the same for years. Like I have, like Brent said, we have tiers. So you got acquaintances, I got friends who I'm real cool with, but then I got that real tight circle of people. And I think for me, it's been that way since I was 17 because I kind of had to make it that way. Um, for me in the church, taking a path of eldership is sometimes a very lonely path as a teenager, especially. It's kind of lonely as an adult, but it's kind of lonely as a teenager because that's where when you really get into the whole like finding yourself and venturing out and going off to school, making your own way and that kind of thing. And then also you have to kind of close that circle of who you can trust and who you can talk to because you're learning things, you're listening to other people's problems, and you can't talk to everybody about that. So your circle just gets smaller naturally, I think. So for me, my circle has been the same since I was 17, and I'm blessed to have that because I have had people who have seen me through losses. Some of the greatest losses of my life, losing, my great grandmother, my uncle, my stepfather, they've been there for me for all those things. And these are not people who I had to call and ask, hey, are you coming? I've just looked up and they were standing there. So, having those folks be there for you regardless of whatever, I think um, that's probably the greatest benefit, is just knowing they're going to be there. And then also just having, I'm very much a firm believer of iron sharpens iron. So surrounding yourself with people who do add value and who will help make you better, and not just be like, yes, girl, that's right, keep doing that, when they know you're not doing the right thing. To have a conversation with me out of love and criticize me out of love and give me constructive feedback, I think is being able to have people that will do that for you is wonderful. It's just another level of trust and friendship that I'm blessed to have. So that's how my friend group has been beneficial to me in that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the last one that we have on there is, how do you maintain being a good friend in these Corona times? And I think for me, showing up is just showing up, making the call, sending the text, um, is how I'm maintaining, making sure that I get on the polo and converse with you all. There are some days, all three of us, we all have days where we're not as vocal on there, but I want to try to make sure, even if it's just a note, that I make sure that I make contact, even if I don't necessarily feel like it, if I'm having a rough day. I also realize that there are certain people who, when all this is over, aka when we're all vaccinated and we can be with one another, there are certain people, right? There's certain people I cannot wait to get my hands on. You know what I mean? There's certain people. Seriously, there's certain people I cannot wait to. I can't wait to grab them. I just want to grab them. Seriously,
that's how we got this mess in the first place.
I'm just saying, like, beside my family, there are certain friends, I just want to go to their home. Like, I want to hug them. I want to play with their children. I want our kids to play together. And so I think those are the people that I'm most focused on, during these times, making sure I maintain those relationships so that when I do come home and we're in a place where we can be together, we can really be together like we were before.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I'm in that same boat as well, Simone. It really, your friend relationships need just as much work as, say, your significant other marriage relationships as well. And so for me, it's all right. I know if I'm going to work my part time job, I have a 30-minute drive, and so during that drive, I may do a polo video at that point, or I may get on the phone and be like, hey man, I'm just driving. Wanted to check in with you. I got two kids, so I got 30 minutes of uninterrupted time. So what's going on with you? You got time? That type deal. And a lot of times that's what works. 30 minutes going, 30 minutes coming back. So I have some time sometimes to actually, make those phone calls and just text messages the other day like, hey, you were. I'm getting better at, if I'm thinking about somebody, just text them like right there, like, hey, just thinking about you. Like, your face ran through my head. Like, just thinking about you. Hope all is good. Boom. Call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get better at doing that, because I think Simone and I have reverse roles, where I'm becoming more of the out of sight, out of mind type of thing, where I'm kind of being more forgetful about some of the friends. Not because I'm trying to forget you. It's just like, you're not in the regular rotation. We don't cross paths anymore every day some kind of way, or once a week some kind of way. So I have to find a way to remember to reach out, because in the midst of Corona, COVID, the Aurora, whatever I called it earlier,
Corona.
you still have to manage your work, your family life, and then the friends that you see all the time, and then also those other friends that you trying to remember to reach out to. So I actually personally want to get better about doing that at the end, trying to text people when they're on your mind, and find some way to reach out to them as well, because I want to make sure I maintain those friend groups also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you all, this has been a really, really good episode. I feel what we talked about doing this a while ago, so I'm glad that we have talked about this, because friendship is really important, and especially as we get older. And I don't want to. Life tomorrow's not promised. you know, um, I think if nothing else, last year and also going into this year has taught us that tomorrow's not promised, and so we have to make time for our loved ones, and the ones that are related to us, and also the family we've created, which are friends. So, yeah, I'm glad that we did this.
Yeah, as the great theologian, can't remember his name, said, friends. How many of us have them? Friends, was that Houdini? Friends, once
Houdini,
gone.
Houdini.
I'm glad too, because I think we do, need to talk about that more and just, recognize our friends, especially in this time where we're not connected to each other, where it's really hard. There are people that I'm used to seeing once a week that I have seen once a
Easy.
week, every week for a good chunk of my
For
life.
the duration.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who I have not seen, some of them in a year. So, I think
Mhm.
it's just good to remind us to, reach out to our friends and, and I hope that our friends that are watching that we don't talk to all the time know that, we still love you. We're thinking of you. Forgive us if we haven't been as communicative as we were before.
Mhm.
We're all
Mhm.
falling short in this land. So
Mhm. Reach out to us,
hit me up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we have technically reached our time, but we have a few more things to get to. Do we want to talk about All American?
Yes. But just for a few minutes, not a long time.
It got spicy.
I love All American. I love it.
This show is great. This show is great.
I'm just happy that Coop and I'm sad that Coop and Spencer, they seem like they're gonna be separated for a while. Which honestly I really don't think is all that necessary. If they could just continue talking.
Right.
But I'm glad that Spencer has, is understanding. I feel like his limitations, and I think it's not all Coop's fault.
No.
They both, like, you could have said, you know what, friend, I told you what my opinion was, and now I'm going to back away because now you're behaving in a way that's not safe. Mm-hmm. And he didn't do that. So
for me, the only people that need to break up in this episode were Asher and Olivia and Layla and Spencer. I don't think Coop and Spencer, or Scoop as I call them, I don't think they needed to break up. Because I think it could be like I heard you, you heard me, let's back up and reassess. And I think they have been doing this for years. They said something, the mother mentioned something earlier about how, Coop wanted to be on the football team and Spencer fought really hard for her to be on it. And then when it was time to play, she realized she didn't really want to play. She didn't want to intrude on Spencer's territory, and he was mad, but they got over it. So I feel like they go through this bout of wanting to take care of each other and then getting in each other's way at the same time.
Yeah.
What about you, Brandon?
Vanessa's adding a whole lot of spice, man. Vanessa's adding a whole lot of spice to the situation. I knew it was about to go crazy when she started talking about all the personal stuff.
I know. That was deliberate.
She was like, yeah, that thing you slept with since you were 10 years old. Oh, that. And at that point, I was like,
they were like,
that was shady. Mm-hmm. And see, that's why women be in competition, because stuff like that. His girlfriend's sitting right there. Why would you bring that up?
Right.
Why would you? I'm getting upset.
I love how you bring it full circle, just all the way back around. Points from the episode.
No, it's a good show. For those of you all who don't know, All American is like the show that we all started together during Corona, and
it got us through.
It got us through the first part, because I think we were 2 seasons that we had to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it got us through.
It did.
And it's back on now, so I appreciate it. And I love that as shows are coming back, some of them are addressing Corona, and I think sometimes you have to. I don't think you can have a medical show and not address Corona, but I do like the shows that don't necessarily dive right back into Corona. I need to. I'm watching TV to escape the reality that I'm in.
Right.
Exactly. We also wanted to acknowledge it's still Black History Month today. This is the last day. We're in February, and yep. So I have been watching the Black Church series on PBS. I think it's just 2 episodes. Again, really have learned a lot about the Black Church, so much, and I actually want to go back and watch it again. But it just shows I have so much more reading to do, understanding our history and our culture.
Yep, I'm on the. I think I've seen the first half of the first episode, and so far it's like, oh.
And I'll say I've tried to stay off of social media for some of Black History Month because I was trying to just enjoy Black History Month. But But I will say somebody brought a note to my attention where they were posting about Black Christian musicians, or Black Christian metal musicians, which is a small community. It's not very many. And they were highlighting various ones. And somebody in the group said, but what about all the white Christian musicians, metal musicians? And to that, I just want to say that I think we as a people need to realize that shining a light on somebody else does not take away your shine at all.
Right.
You know, you can acknowledge the very few, Black people or people of color, Hispanic people that have done something great or whatnot without taking away anything else that anybody else has done.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, very true. And that's just goes back to ignorance about the fact that there's a certain group, people of color, particularly Black folks, that get ignored. Our contributions get ignored. So you don't, white folks don't get ignored. And so you don't have to mention you all the time. Especially not in February. No. Okay.
We get the shortest. You let us have our 28 days.
Right. We also like to talk about, obviously, our gratitude, things that we're thankful for. And I'm just going to say I'm thankful. And I've said this before, I'm very thankful for both of you. That does not mean that I love you. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that I'm grateful for you all. and grateful for these Corona times and the relationship that has grown. I mean, I honestly feel closer. And I'm saying just about, I feel closer to Tiffany than when we were at home, which is saying a lot because we've always been close, always. So for me to feel even closer is, I didn't expect that. So, and of course, closer to you, Brandon, because we never talk that as much as we do now. So thankful for y'all.
He wormed his way into our friend group. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know how it happened. I don't know.
No, I'm thankful since we're talking about friends. I am very thankful for the group of friends that I have, including, Tiff and Simone, that do prop me up, think about me, pray for me, text me randomly, all that stuff. Again, I don't think I'd be where I am without them. So I'm very thankful. And it's not just the seven. The seven people that I named are, Tiff, Simone, and then my 5 guy friends that I've been extremely close to for the last 20 years. But I have a fairly extensive group of friends who do check on me, who do different tiers, not different tiers, but they have, they check up on me, call, text, IG, direct message, those type deals, and we just have a conversation through that. And sometimes that's all you need. So very thankful for that.
I'm very thankful for friends too. In our Friday night Vesper, they raised a question about something what would you do differently if COVID was lifted? And Simone mentioned that she would just love to get back to church, and highlighted that, that was going to church all the time and having such a strong community and sense of foundation was wonderful for her as a teenager. And she wants the same for her son. And I am just a testimony, cannot say enough, how great it was to grow up with such wonderful people and to be surrounded with friends that are doing so well. I have a friend who's a doctor. I have a friend who's a certified health coach. I have friends who are homeowners. I have friends who are good parents. I have friends who are counsel women. I have all kinds of friends that I can look to and say, these are good examples. And I have friends who are in good, positive marriages, good relationships that are good, images of what it means to be a strong Black man and strong Black women in this time. So, I'm just glad that I have a good group of peers that I can look to and say, hey, my friends are doing well. I'm glad to have friends that are doing well and that are not ashamed or embarrassed to celebrate each other. So I'm thankful for that.
Yep. So what do we have coming up in March? I know we talked about it, but I don't know.
Well, I think we're going to get this Protect Black Women episode out.
Yeah.
Which I'm looking forward to that. We are going to, I don't know, celebrate, but mark the 1-year anniversary of working from home, or Corona it's coming up in March. That came up quick.
Yeah. When our workplaces shut down.
Changed.
Everything changed.
Yeah. Working on some other stuff for the month. So yeah, good stuff is coming down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we are here as long as Corona will have us, which seems like it's going to be here for a long time.
I know it. But that's okay because we're going to be here. We, again, like we said at the beginning, we love that you all watch and engage with us. We will be having a watch party on tomorrow, on Monday at 8:00. Please, please, please come through and comment and talk with us, engage in the conversation. We want to hear about y'all's friendships.
Yes.
And all those kind of things. So yeah, check us out. If you can't check us out on the watch party, we're on YouTube. You can watch it again on, you can watch it again on Facebook, but also YouTube. And if you need a link, you can always just, if you're not savvy, you can just text us and ask for the link and we'll send it.
We'll help you. We'll send it by carrier pigeon. However, we want you to watch. So please watch, share, and enjoy. Well, before we close out, we just want to remind you guys to stay safe in these Corona times.
Wear your mask.
Yep. Wash your hands, all those things. Keep social distancing. And until we come back, we always want to say we want justice for Breonna Taylor. Kentucky did not vote to impeach Daniel Cameron, and I'm disappointed in that. But hey, maybe we can vote him out when this time comes.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Y'all can get it done.
But until next time,
we remain yours.
Good night, everybody.